Hello folks, thank you very much for joining me on another video here on Danny's Corner. My name is Danny and today I want to talk about several things, but they all revolve around one main theme here, which is accessibility. This morning I was supposed to have a meeting on Zoom. And I remember that one of the issues here is accessibility. As you know, phones get updated every so often, the firmware or whatnot. And the problem with that is that as people who have a disability relating to blindness, that is, we do not know if those improvements that these developers are talking about are going to serve us. With that being said, I want to make it real clear that a lot of people who say that people like me or other folks are entitled, we didn't choose to be born this way. We were thrown into this world. And if I have not said this before, I'm going to say it now. We have the same rights, or we're supposed to have the same rights, the same privileges that a sighted person has. Why should we be disconnected from the world? Why should we be left out cold when you, as a sighted person, can enjoy a lot of things? Why, when something doesn't work for you, why when something doesn't go the way you want, you are able to protest, you are able to shout, you are able to demand, insult, do you know who I am, and things like that. Yet when one of us tries to do the same thing, you call us entitled. You call us victims. You call us a bunch of other names. You don't realize the oppression that not only people with disabilities have been under, but other groups as well. And I may have mentioned this before, but I would understand perhaps if it was one group and they would always be talking about the same thing. Oh, these people don't understand us. Look how much they have been bothering us or persecuting us or whatnot. Okay. Maybe you would have a point. I don't care if you're coming from a Democrat side or Republican side, atheists or Christians or what have you. I'm speaking in general terms here. But interestingly enough, this is not only one group who is claiming justice of one kind or another. We have blind people. We have people with other disabilities. We have the Me Too movement. We have the people who are black. We have Native Americans. We just had 2 strikes going on, one with the Writers Association and the other one with the auto industry. We have Hispanics. There's just a lot of groups who have felt the ire of this minority group, whomever they may be, who have felt oppressed, who have felt as if they're not wanted anywhere. And so when I come here and speak to you about technology, for example, that in this latest update of Android, I don't know who else has experienced this, but I've experienced it today, as I said, when I was trying to use Zoom for a meeting. It didn't work. So before updating a phone and saying that it's good for all, make sure that it's actually good for all and not just the majority. We all use phones nowadays. We all use computers, most of us. Most of us use other kinds of technology to pretend that we don't care, to pretend that we're not going to notice. It's just baffling. A few days ago, I was going through YouTube videos to see which one would interest me. And one of the ones that caught my attention was a police department. This was a few years ago. A police department had not requested even services for a sign language interpreter. A woman had come up and said, I know that you guys are going to have a press conference or what have you, and I would like to serve as a language interpreter. And the chief of police said, okay, no problem. But he wasn't seeking an interpreter. So what ended up happening is this guy was talking about a serious matter, as you know, a lot of times police departments do, and this was having to do with a murder or something like that. And what this woman did is, instead of signing what the chief of police was saying, and perhaps other people, she was doing anything but that. She got some things right from what I was able to get from the comments, but 90% of it was just gibberish. It was nothing. And to her, perhaps this was just a prank. Oh, nobody's going to notice this. And a lot of people on that comment section were saying, ha ha ha, this was so funny. I have never laughed so hard in my life. Or, comments like this. This was really funny. I wish people would do this more. Or I admire this person for having the boldness, they use other words, to do this. People are laughing at this as if it was the most funniest thing. But yet, if somebody like me were to laugh at something else, like, for example, a murder, or, for example, somebody getting mugged, or another school shooting, or whatever the case is, that would seem inappropriate for a lot of people, and it would be. So do you see where the hypocrisy is at? When it comes to me or people like me, we can't laugh at certain things, and we get told this is appropriate in society, and it's what's not appropriate in society. But people in the able-bodied community are not taught about when things are appropriate when it comes to interacting with a person with a disability, or how to talk to a person with a disability. They get off with just, oh, I didn't know that was inappropriate. You're supposed to understand. You're not supposed to get angry. This has been happening, by the way, to people with disabilities all over the world for more than 2,000 years. We supposedly live in a civilization that is technologically advanced. that we know more than our ancestors did. Hey, we live in a country that supposedly has a lot of money. We brag about a lot of things. And other countries are supposed to feel proud of the things that we have accomplished. They're supposed to feel proud of a number of things that we have done. But what we're doing with people with disabilities by leaving them out cold with these updates when it comes to technology, or I just showed you how, in a way, the machine that I reviewed for you, which is the foot massager, wasn't accessible. And like that, there are other products. And technology is the same way when they make updates. And nobody cares, or very few people seem to care, when it comes to making fun of somebody because of their disability. Oh, this is just a practical joke. People laugh. But as I have said before, if somebody like me were to play a practical joke on somebody who's sighted, I would be the one paying the consequences. What society is doing is unacceptable in every way imaginable. I believe that the pandemic that hit us about 3 years ago was supposed to show the world something. People were complaining about wearing a mask and how dare the stores enforced this, and they couldn't go out without a mask with a mask because they had a disability and they had this and they had that, playing that card, all because they didn't want to wear a mask because it wasn't they had the right not to wear one, and the mask caused this and the mask caused that. Let me tell you something. You only experience that for 2 years, if that. And I said this when I have written about this kind of topic. As people with disabilities, we've had to face discrimination, true discrimination, for most of our lives. Not just me, but a lot of other people, spanning more than 200 years, more than 1,000 years, and we put up with it. And this is what you're complaining about? Wearing a mask? I had a friend, I should say. He died a few years ago. I remember that he was going to a restaurant to get some food. Just for the record, he had severe CP, or cerebral palsy. He was in a wheelchair. He used a communicating device. And unable to use this communicating device, he couldn't wear any shoes. So his foot acted as what his hand was supposed to do. So what had happened was that he went to the restaurant and people wouldn't serve him because he had no shoes. And although he tried explaining to them, because not only did this communicating device had a screen so you could see what he was writing, but it had a speaker or something with a speech synthesizer. You can actually hear what he was trying to say. That was the way that I was able to communicate with him. And so when they rejected him because he didn't have any shoes, it was heartbreaking to know that people are getting rejected left and right. The same thing has happened with Lyft, with Uber. when they have rejected seeing seeing guide dogs, because, oh, we don't want those type of dogs in our car. The same thing has happened with restaurants. They do not accept seeing eye dogs, although it's written in the Constitution, or I'm sorry, it's written in the ADA law, the Americans with Disabilities Act, passed in 1990. So they can't legally discriminate against someone because of your disability or because you have an animal. But in spite of this, people still do this. So it's amazing that all of a sudden these people who complained about masks and wearing them and so forth and so on, now they have a disability and therefore they have to breathe fresh air or what have you. Some people think it's funny also to defraud the Social Security Administration. They don't have any disabilities whatsoever, yet they come across some of these people as, oh, I'm blind and I need this, or I can't do this and therefore I need that. They take money away from those people with disabilities who need it the most, and they are not ashamed to do it. It's ridiculous. And then we have other people who are celebrities that are either intentionally doing this kind of stuff or maybe not intentionally, but it's still bad. And they still ask, why are my people being treated this way? Because you're treating us the same way that others are treating your people. I'll get to that on the next part of this video. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoy this content and would like to support me in any way, you can. Make sure to subscribe to Danny's Corner, share, give a like, comment, and tell me what you think about this. I'm going to continue to speak about this and other topics until something gets done, until somebody sees the hypocrisy on whatever side you find yourself. This problem is not from one side or the other. This problem comes from every side, and instead of helping us, we are the ones who end up being beaten. We are the ones that are being forced to conform or otherwise. Thank you very much. Also, please turn on those notifications so when I do upload another video, either here or if you subscribe to my Spanish channel, which is Hablando con Dani, you can receive the notifications that I have uploaded another video. Thank you. Have a blessed day.